Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. Coffee chat. What keeps you up at night? Let's really get right into the heart of the issues for all of us, right? And you could say our issues are all completely different, but they're going to come down to one thing. What keeps you up at night? Well, you could say it's money, or it's my job, or it's my relationship. I'm fearing for my future. I feel helpless. I feel hopeless. That is one thing. What is it? We're not happy. It's not the money. I know broke people that are super happy. And I also know some wealthy people who are extremely unhappy. So I want to just ask you one question. What keeps you up at night? And what could we do right now today to change that? You might say, well, that would be a big job, and it's really not. I want to share with you, and my whole channel is dedicated to this, and that is we really are controlling everything in our lives with our thoughts. And every time you have a negative thought or you feel hopeless or helpless, you're sending that message out to the universe, and thus it is. I'm going to tell you right now, there's always a solution for everything, and you have access to it. It's not somebody else's control or power. I get a lot of emails, people asking me to save them or send them checks, but that's only going to fuel the problem, because the problem is that they have not learned that they wield the power, and they haven't learned that those experiences, the things that we go through, are valuable. So can we do two things today that'll help pull you out of that waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sweating and panicking? I've been there before, wondering when and how you're going to change your life, not knowing how to do it, not knowing where to begin. It's very frustrating. So the first thing is, look at where you are in your life, the things that are truly making you unhappy, or that you believe are making you unhappy. What is it in your life right now that is such a struggle or a challenge? And ask yourself right now, is there a lesson in here? Is there a behavior that you have, a thought pattern, or something else going on that has created it and possibly kept you in it? So I'll give you an example. You may know I was an investment banker for 25 years. I continued down the road, as most of us do, in careers, especially careers that are successful and they pay well, right? And especially mine was very prestigious. I had a lot of perks with mine. I lived a very exciting life, so there's no incentive to leave a career like that because you're told that that's happiness. And you continue to go down that road and you realize this is not where I want to be. You're not connecting to it. And then it gets worse and worse and worse. And then the money means absolutely nothing. And how many things can you buy? How many trips can you go on? And cars can you buy? Well, you might say, well, I could do a lot with that. And you would. And temporarily it feels okay, but there's no depth of happiness in that. Trust me, you may have been there before, right? You don't feel the way you thought you would, because that underlying unhappiness is still there. You still have to go back to that job or that lifestyle or that boss or doing what you don't love. So the number one thing was I had to look and say, why am I where I am right now? Well, I'm not making any changes. I'm not doing anything to change my situation. Or I'm believing something that just isn't true, that I'm trapped here, or that I should stay in this position because the society tells me that I'm successful and I'd be a fool to leave it. We have a lot of that pressure going on too. So what did I do? I bucked the system. You know me, I break through fear. My e-course trains people how to do this. I decided that it was my life and that I wasn't going to stay in that situation that was getting me up at 3 o'clock in the morning sweating, saying, this is not where I want to be. And I went after my dreams. Now you might say, well, that's great, but we have to pay our bills. There are ways and tools for you to pay your bills. My online training right here is one of them. Why? Because we have to educate ourselves and take charge. We can't keep relying on other people, other bosses, other companies to solve our problems. When we take charge, we get to create the lives that we love. What is the number one thing that you would like to change? You'd like to be happy. Because no matter what anybody tells me they'd like to change, it comes down to the fact that they're just not happy. You can say, well, I need money. I'm not happy. Oh, I need a better relationship because I'm not happy. How do you become happy? It's not the material world. But we can change that material world to not only be abundant for us, definitely can be abundant and be happy, but we must work on that inner power that knows that it controls that outside world and knows that it can change any situation. But the biggest thing that we have to get past, the biggest hurdle, is that fear. That fear that whatever we're going into isn't going to work, or others are going to judge it. And we go through that a lot. Or we just say, I don't know how to begin. I don't know, I don't have the tools. And then we are paralyzed and we don't take the steps. I just got an email from somebody who they applied for my internet training system that I promote. The one that I've been doing for 5 years that allowed me to change my life. It's an education system. I used the tools and the knowledge to create the life that I love now, to get out of that 25 years. I had to educate myself. I had to do something different than what I was doing and take control to create that happiness. What is that? Doing what I love. I knew happiness was about getting up every morning and feeling really great about what I do, loving my day, having that freedom. Do you know what it's like to have freedom? You might not. True freedom. When somebody calls you and says you want to go to Italy for a month and you say yes without hesitating, I have that freedom. You can create that freedom, but nobody else is going to do it for you. So the second thing is like, do you go into that inner part of you and ask yourself, is there something that I could do to change my situation? So this email comes in from somebody that applied to the internet training, and she was living out of her van. And I told her, this is not for you. This is not the time for you to go into something that's going to require an investment in education, just like school. You have to invest in yourself. And then we'll teach you how to create that business, how that online education is going to take you to wherever you choose. But you're going to be very challenged, and living out of a van with no money isn't going to do it. So what did she do? She took charge. She is now in an apartment. She's able to pay her bills. And now she was formerly a social worker. So this is a well-educated woman. She's now coming back into our training system. She's going to learn and use all of the tools to reach other people, to tell her story that you can change anything, and to create charitable organizations for homeless people, because she was one for 8 years. This is a social worker who ended up unemployed and in a van for 8 years. This is an amazing story. So she didn't see what her experience was as something negative. She used it to empower her. She understood that there was a reason why she went through that. And now she can be the voice for so many people in those situations. Now, you don't have to go to that depth of pain. But it wasn't pain for her so much. She came to terms with it. Again, I know people that are broke and in the worst situations who are truly happy. It's the happiness that we seek. What are you learning from whatever it is you are unhappy about? Is it controlling you? Is that happiness coming from the material world? Do you have to come to terms with the fact that you can be happy without having that situation change? And that by being happy, it will change. Now, this will take work. But when you find the value in whatever you're experiencing right now and the acceptance, if you've gone to LandriaOnkka.com, I have an e-course where we have an entire lesson on accepting everything, finding the value, and using those situations to empower us to change everything and saying, what is it I'm doing here that keeps me there? Is it those thoughts? Am I a victim? Am I angry? Am I not forgiving? Am I supposed to forgive? That's the biggest thing that you can do to release yourself from that situation. Am I allowing society to tell me I need to stay in a certain job or a certain relationship, or that I'm not worthy, or that I don't have the talent, or I don't have the resources, or I'm just feeling exhausted? I don't want to go out and learn something else. You get a lot of people that do that. But what if you were learning something that felt really good, and you were with other people and you were excited about it, and you went through some challenges because you're learning stuff that's different. But along that way, you had the support with other people, like-minded people, who are also trying to get out of their situations and create their own happiness. They're taking charge. Are you taking charge? The second thing is taking that action and saying, I do have the power. And that action is starting with the positive thoughts. It's the toughest thing. Catching yourself, my 3-second manifest, catching yourself, boom, going over to this positive thought and saying, that's not true. I can do anything I want. And then being able and willing and committed to taking that action and following through with it. Man, people quit. They quit every time things get tough. It's not supposed to be this way. Yes, it's exactly that way. That's what empowers you. That's what all the people that quit, that if you don't quit and you go into something that's difficult and you step out of that matrix, you're the one that's going to be okay. Why? Because you're the smallest percentage, right? The competition is gone. They all gave up when it got tough. When you hang in there and you go after your dreams, you can make it happen. You just have to ask yourself how badly you want it. I wanted it badly, and I had no doubt that I was going to achieve my dreams, and I have done way beyond that. I've far surpassed my dreams, and I have even bigger goals now, much bigger goals. And it's exciting, and you can feel this way. If you're interested in my internet training, you can go up here and click. What are you going to do with your life? It doesn't have to be the tools that I'm supplying you. It could be anything. But what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to be like my friend who's out of that van and now is an inspiration to the world? We're going to teach her how to reach global audiences. We're going to teach her how to send that message out and make a difference on this planet. And we're going to teach her how to make money so that she can flourish. It's possible for you. You get to decide. Nobody's going to do this for you. No one's going to guarantee your happiness or your income. And if you're thinking that way, then it's time to shift gears and take control. You are the one that dictates how much money you make, if you're happy or not, how you value your experiences, and how you're going to proceed and move into the future and create whatever you want. And are you going to enjoy that journey and realize that you're going to learn something amazing from everything that you do? Even the stuff that's a little painful. We're on planet Earth, that's never going to go away. So when we accept that and know that we're all here in it together and we can all help each other, I'm one of those people that's here to help you with your spiritual growth and giving you the tools to change your life by creating online businesses. We have to pay our bills. But the power that you wield through that training, it's mind-blowing. You now have tools. When you go through that training, you have tools to reach those audiences, to stop going into a job that you hate. Are you willing to put that effort in, take that action, change that mindset, find everything that's happened in your life of value? You do that, and you can go and shift into happiness. Do you want to shift into happiness? We all do. And if you go into life, instead of seeing the problems, finding the opportunities, and being that higher energy, people will love you. Amazing things will open up for you because you'll be on that higher frequency where amazing probabilities lie. Can you see that situation as something amazing and be joyful? In the worst of circumstances, it'll shift. And you'll shift into happiness. And all of a sudden, that situation will change. You're whole. You're perfect and strong and powerful. loving, harmonious, and happy. Someone asked me, what does whole mean? There's nothing missing. You're whole. There's nothing missing. You wield the power right now, and you can shift into happiness. You want to join me? I'm there. And I don't plan on leaving. Namaste.